Have you ever held a bottle of Fireball cinnamon whiskey and wondered, is this even real whiskey? What if I told you that millions of Americans have been drinking something that isn't whiskey at all, and yet it became one of the most popular liquor brands in the country? That's right. Fireball isn't just a drink. It's a $70 million marketing masterstroke built on loopholes, clever tricks, and a lot of audacity. The humble beginning. The story starts in 2007. Flavored spirits were booming, college parties were wild, and at the bottom shelf of every liquor store sat a forgotten failure. Dr. McGillicuddy's Fireball whiskey. Too sweet for whiskey lovers, too boring for college kids. It was a schnapps pretending to be whiskey, slowly fading into obscurity. But inside the Sazerac company boardroom, executives saw opportunity.
All right, so the company that makes Fireball is under fire tonight. A woman in Illinois filed a lawsuit claiming the company's popular Fireball cinnamon shooters don't actually have any whiskey.
Where I'm from, you don't want to be the one that shows up at the party with the no whiskey alcohol.
Pretty much.
The last party invite you ever get. We went straight to the manufacturer's website and we took a look at the lawsuit. Turns out the claim is true. There isn't any whiskey in Fireball cinnamon.
The schnapps market was crowded, but whiskey, wide open. They asked themselves one question: what if we made whiskey for parties, not whiskey drinkers? 3 problems stood in the way. The name, Dr. McGillicuddy's, sounded like medicine. The taste, whiskey burns, but college kids wanted smooth, sweet shots. The cost, real whiskey takes years to age and costs a fortune. The solution? Kill the old name, keep the sweet formula, and bend the rules. The flavored whiskey loophole. Here's the kicker. In America, for a spirit to be called whiskey, it must have 40% alcohol and age at least 2 years. Fireball? 33% alcohol, no aging. Technically schnapps. Then Sazerac found a loophole. Call it flavored whiskey and add a tiny bit of real whiskey. Suddenly, legally, it counts as whiskey. They blended cheap Canadian whiskey into their candy-like schnapps, creating a product that looked like whiskey, tasted like candy, and legally called itself whiskey, all without the hard work. Selling the illusion. Marketing genius came next. Instead of spending millions on TV ads, Fireball used the oldest trick in the book: word of mouth. A brand ambassador bought rounds of Fireball shots for strangers in Nashville bars, shared it on social media, and repeated the process night after night. Result? Fireball didn't sell itself as a premium whiskey. It sold itself as the shot everyone was doing. Profit margins were astronomical. A 60-cent shot poured for $5 to $7. Within 2 years, sales jumped from $1.9 million to $61 million. A dying brand was suddenly outselling Jameson and Patron, building the Grassroots army. Sazerac knew exposure mattered more than ads. They built an army of ambassadors handing out Fireball at college tailgates, country music festivals, and hockey arenas. No corporate pitches, no promotional gear, just ordinary people creating buzz.
So much. Have a great time tonight.
By 2014, Fireball had hit $863.5 million in total sales, becoming the 7th most popular liquor brand in the US. Not bad for a bottle that started as a failed schnapps. The antifreeze scandal. Then, disaster struck in Europe. Fireball was pulled from shelves for containing too much propylene glycol, the same chemical used in antifreeze. Panic? Not Sazerac. They reformulated the recipe, resumed sales within weeks, and turned a potential crisis into marketing gold.
It's one of the fastest growing liquor brands in America, but Fireball whiskey is now being recalled in parts of Europe because it contains an ingredient found in antifreeze. So why is this liquor still on store shelves here in the U.S.?
Lesson. Crises can amplify awareness if handled smartly. The scandal didn't hurt Fireball. It made it famous. The tiny bottle loophole. By 2016, Fireball was everywhere in liquor stores, but Sazerac saw an even bigger opportunity: gas stations and convenience stores where real whiskey can't be sold. Solution? Create a 16.5% alcohol version, legally classified as a malt beverage, package it identically to the whiskey, and sell it side by side. One small word on the label distinguished it legally, but most customers didn't notice. Result: Fireball mini bottles flooded 170,000 stores across America, raking in an estimated $70 million in 5 years, without anyone realizing they weren't drinking whiskey. Lawsuits and legality. Eventually, someone noticed. In 2023, a woman filed a class action lawsuit claiming fraud. She bought Fireball at a gas station thinking it was whiskey, but it was actually beer with whiskey flavoring. Sazerac's defense? They followed FDA labeling rules. Technically true, but the lawsuit questioned whether legality equals honesty. The case is still ongoing, and Fireball keeps selling the same products today. The real lesson: Fireball didn't sell whiskey. They sold the feeling of whiskey. The fire, the rebellion, the party, the illusion. From $1.9 million in 2011 to $863.5 million in 2014, a 45,000% increase. They didn't change what was inside the bottle. They changed what people believed was inside. In marketing, reality doesn't matter. Perception does. So next time you sip Fireball, remember, you're not drinking whiskey. You're drinking a masterclass in perception, loopholes, and marketing genius. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Fireball proves that what people think they're buying can be far more powerful than what's actually in the bottle.